us begin.
Room here.
She has a lot of ideas.
What kind of ideas?
Constable's responsible. Now, how does that sound?
No. Responsible is not a word.
We made it up.
Well, unmake it up.
Hey everyone, it's Jonathan and welcome to the 250th episode of the iHeart Animation Podcast. I don't know how often I need to make mention of the milestones I hit, but this one seems like a big one, and it also snuck up on me. Plus, it was in the middle of a pre-recorded, pre-prepared series on Mary Poppins, and we were going to hit episode 250 on the final episode of that series, so I figured instead of just releasing the episode as is, I'd go back and get the extended Patreon version of the episode and release that here instead of the shorter, edited one. This episode has a lot of Disney tangents that are completely irrelevant to the movie at hand, but if you're a Disney fan, they're totally worth it, and they also tease a new Disney podcast series that we are in the middle of recording as we speak. Now, today's episode is a slightly different kind of movie podcast than what we normally do. Usually when I do a podcast series on all the different versions of things, I do mostly constrain it to adaptations of the same work. Well, today I wanted to do something a bit different because with Mary Poppins, aside from discovering all the obscure versions that are out there from around the world that we discussed in the last episode, there really is one main, quintessential, iconic adaptation, obviously the 1964 version from Walt Disney, and the story behind the making of that movie is something that has kind of ascended into Disney legend. We talked a bit about it in the first episode, but in 2013 they actually made a full feature film about the process that went into making Disney's Mary Poppins, and I figured that should be part of this series too. However, Saving Mr. Banks wasn't just a movie about the making of Mary Poppins, as I would come to discover. This is also just a straight-up biopic about P.L. Travers, the author of Mary Poppins, and all the things that happened in her life to inspire the stories that she would later write. So, joining me once more are Mark and Stanford. We had already planned on covering this movie from the beginning, but after meeting Jack in the last episode, we decided to have him come back and share his insights into the story with us, as he is so knowledgeable on all things Mary Poppins, and by extension, P.L. Travers herself. So, I did not know what this movie was going into it. I thought I knew what it was.
Oh yeah, because you hadn't seen it before, right?
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah, this is the first time I had seen it. Like, I was expecting a lighter movie about Walt Disney trying to convince P.L. Travers to let him make Mary Poppins. But it was, like, so much heavier. And I went over to my cousin's house. Sarah wanted to watch this too. So I went over there to watch with her. And she said that her sister had told her that it was really heavy. I was like, what? Like, I didn't know what she was talking about. So we started watching it, and then stuff started happening. I was like, oh, that's what Sasha was talking about.
Yeah.
I had no idea how heavy this movie was going to get. Like, I thought this was like a PG, like, semi-dramatic comedy. It was not.
Well, it might have been PG.
It was rated PG-13.
I looked it up, it was PG-13. So I just thought it was PG, and I was wrong.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I personally didn't feel it went like dark, but I mean, it definitely had heavier stuff than you might have been expecting.
I know, I have to say, I don't react to it quite that way, but I have seen it 3 times, so I don't know. Maybe I just had correct expectations.
Jack and I are in the same boat.
Yeah, I've seen it like 3 or 4 times myself, and I think even the first time I saw it, I wasn't necessarily disturbed, but I felt like it brought some clarity into why P.L. Travers was such a grouch.
Yeah.
You know, at least supposedly, right?
That's probably the best way to describe her. Like, not evil or anything, but a grouch.
Yeah.
I think my reaction is mainly just because I expected a lighter, almost comedy. And then like it kept getting darker and darker, and then you get to the scene where her mom is literally going to kill herself right in front of the child, and I was like,
well, that's true.
What on earth is this movie? Like, obviously that must have really happened.
I think that's where it got the PG-13, because it was thematic elements. I think it was probably
Yeah, I think so too, Mark.
Yeah, but I was not expecting a scene like that in this movie.
I do feel like there's a cut of this movie somewhere that's all of the Pamela as an adult scenes without any of the flashbacks that would be a little bit lighter, right?
It would be. And like at the beginning it was, because the flashbacks are kind of sprinkled throughout, and the heavier stuff comes later in the movie. Like there's some at the beginning with you can tell something's going on with her dad.
The
But
alcoholism, right? I mean, that's the other dark thing, I guess.
Yeah. And then he dies of tuberculosis, which I was also not expecting. Which I don't think they said tuberculosis in the movie. We had to look it up afterwards to see what happened to him. Because I was like, he's coughing up blood. That can't just be alcoholism, but it was tuberculosis.
Right.
But yeah, it just kept getting darker and darker. And it was funnier at the beginning. Like, because I don't know at what point we're in the movie. It was amusing things were happening, and Sarah said something like, I don't know what Sasha was talking about. Maybe it's going to get heavier later, but I like this so far. Because we were laughing at her antics. I don't know, that's probably not the best way to describe it, but just her reactions to things. And
he's a fun character.
Yes. I feel like I wouldn't. This is another instance. I've said this about other characters that we've talked about over the years, but like this is the kind of character that I like watching in a movie. I don't think I would like her in real life. But she is a fun character to watch in a movie.
I actually think I would like her in real life, but I understand that that is not a universal feeling.
No, I'm kind of with you, Jack. I would like be amused in real life, so like it wouldn't like put me off.
It's probably because I've had people like her in my life who aren't as fun, but they are very judgmental. So I think I'm just, I don't know. Like she wasn't fully off-putting to me. Like I liked her as a character, but I think I would get tired of her pretty quickly if I had to deal with her all the time in real life.
I think that's fair. I think there's something about my particular maybe we could call it autism. I'm not sure exactly, but where I can just filter a little of that out. Like I can just sort of ignore some of those rougher edges and just get into what I really like about the person, which is that, she's really smart. She's really a storyteller. So you just have to be willing to go along with the rougher stuff or be amused by it, which of course is how the movie presents her.
Yeah, I think too, I would probably cut her slack because I'd be impressed with her work and accomplishments. Yet still think, oh wow, I don't really enjoy being around her, but I give her the credit, okay, she's got street cred, right? Because of what she's done.
Yeah.
Well, I think that she has a lot of interesting interests, and a few of them don't really make it into the movie. All of her interest in the occult and world religions. I actually noticed that when we were back in her house at the end, you could see that they had done the set decoration to reflect that. Like she had some Japanese statues. And I was like, there's her interest in Zen Buddhism. And that would attract me to her. But it's not quite in the movie, actually, not much. One thing that I know more from her biography and from other sources, and it comes out in the movie, but they never quite say it directly, is that, she really didn't think of Mary Poppins as being, like the books, as being for children. And I feel like that is subtext throughout the movie, where Disney's this is so great, kids will love it. And she's like, I'm not sure that's how I think about this story, basically.
Right, and here she is working with the producer, the most famous producer of family films, right? On something that she views as more, more for adults. Interesting. That's very interesting.
Well, at the end of the movie, he does mention adults, would like it to. So he probably turned.
I think she thought she was writing in the genre of Greek myths that are so universal that they could be for any age. And of course they could be appreciated by children, but they could be appreciated by adults. And I think that's valid. I think that's interesting. I do not think that is the headline. I don't think that's the main reading that most people have. I mean, I'm an adult who loves them, obviously.
Yeah, I think a lot of authors of quote unquote children literature or makers of children's entertainment kind of feel that way. They see their work as more universal and not really, centered for kids. I mean, even Walt Disney, he himself said that he didn't make things for kids, for his films and stuff, but even Dr. Seuss's books or J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and stuff like that. It's even maybe to a degree, Frank Baum's Wizard of Oz and stuff like I don't think they really. I think how the public sees them is different than how, like you said, like how they perceive themselves as writing.
I was thinking a lot about Bomb on this viewing. I wonder, I've never really put them together in my mind before, but I want to think about the ways that they're similar or different.
That'll be interesting comparison
Yes,
analysis.
absolutely.
That's my goal one day to read all the Oz books.
Oh yeah, the Fabulous 40.
And the Mary Poppins ones too. The Fabulous 40.
Yes.
Sounds like a bad Enid Blyton series.
It does kind of. There's a movie like this for him, like about
Yeah,
how
with
he.
Ritter, right? Jack Ritter or Jason Ritter, I forget his name.
I don't know who's in it. I watched it. It was made for TV.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
I haven't seen that. What did you think of it?
It's not good, but but I'm glad I watched it, you know. I have a love of Oz that is somewhat like my love of Mary Poppins.
I think I think you bring up a good point though, because I think one of the reasons that I like this film too, I find the story very compelling, but I also just think it's a very well-made film.
Yes.
No,
I think
it
it's
is.
I think it's a terrific script. It's very well directed and very well acted. And so I think that really is one of its strong points too. I mean, it's fascinating to hear or see that interpretation, right, of some of these events, right, that we've heard about. And
So sorry, the Baum film is called The Dreamer of Oz, the L. Frank Baum story with John
ah,
Ritter. John
John
Ritter
Ritter
plays,
was in it.
yeah, he
Okay.
plays Baum.
When was it made?
1990.
Okay.
I think
Thank you.
Rue McClanahan is in it too. Is
Yeah,
that
Oh,
true?
she's in
wow,
it,
is she
yeah.
okay? Interesting cast.
This also had an interesting cast. I was like, these are some serious actors to be in this kind of, I don't know,
I was surprised. Like I knew Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks were in this, but I guess I'd seen the poster, but I don't think Colin Farrell ever made it into my brain as like somebody who was in this movie. So when he showed up, I was like, "What?" I had no idea that he was going to be in here.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him and like Ruth Wilson because like all those scenes that pretty much everybody who acted in the flashback scenes. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did not film those at the same time as the scenes with Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks. I'm pretty sure they never met up because they're pretty much like two totally different movies. So I kind of feel bad for them. They never shared any screen time with Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson.
I mean, the way they did it, it works. Like it works that they feel like two different movies, but
Hmm.
the way they go back and forth, I think, is really brilliant. Like I said, I had no idea that the movie was going to do that, and it worked so well. I really liked it.
It took me till this viewing to sort of get that BJ Novak's character and
Schwartzman,
who's the other guy?
Jason Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartzman, who played the Sherman brothers.
Yes, I didn't. I looked at them so many times and was like, why are they styling these two men so similar? And then this time I was like, oh, I see. They are brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're Walt's famous Sherman brothers.
Yes.
What else did they composed the music for other movies, other Disney
Yeah,
movies?
they
Oh,
did a
yeah.
bunch of stuff for Disney, but even just in general, like they wrote like over 1,000 songs together.
Yeah.
But in terms of Disney, they did a lot of live action stuff, but in animation they did like Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, Aristocats. But I think their biggest claim to fame is that besides Mary Poppins is their work in the parks. They did like It's a Small World After All. They wrote that. They wrote the Carousel of Progress song. Yeah, you definitely have heard a bunch of Sherman Brothers songs in your life.
They also wrote the songs for, is it The Sword in the Rose? What's the name of that?
Slipper in the Rose.
Thank you. The Slipper in the
Slipper in
Rose.
the Rose,
That
yeah.
could be right. I think you Sword in the Stone. Yeah, The Slipper in the Rose. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, if I'm not
Chitty Bang
mistaken.
Bang, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
is
they did a lot
is
of stuff
is
not
their
for
work.
Disney too.
Yeah.
They did Chitty Bang Bang, Slip in the Rose. They did Charlotte's Web, the animated one from the
Charlotte's Web.
70s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they do like a Tom Sawyer one too?
Yeah, they did Tom Sawyer with
Johnny Whitaker.
John Whitaker and Jodie Foster in her
Yeah.
first movie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they're
prolific.
yes, they're like up there.
And Disney legends, like Disney fans, just go
Yeah.
gaga over the Sherman Brothers.
Yeah, Robert Sherman, He died in like 2012, just like in his 80s. But Richard Sherman died last year. He was 95.
Yeah, I saw him at one of those D23 events. He did a concert.
Oh, that is so lucky. Did he take a picture?
Probably, from a mile away, in the big giant hall, but still just to be
Nice.
there.
I always wish I could have met him, but I know that wasn't gonna happen.
Well, and just a little bit of Sherman Brothers trivia before we move on. You know that Once Upon a Studio short that Walt Disney Animation
Hmm.
Studios did recently, they had him re-record Feed the Birds, playing Feed the Birds,
Hmm.
in on the piano that he used to play for Walt Disney on. That's back in place in Walt Disney's office that they restored there on the studio lot there in Burbank. And anyway, that's pretty neat. It's like one of the last things he did before I think he passed away.
Hmm.
There's a cool little YouTube video about it. Where the directors of the short are just absolutely geeking out. This experience is happening that they
Yeah.
are with Mr. Sherman.
There was actually an article last year that when he and his brother were, in their early days of working together, they had like some sort of like dinosaur character that they made up and they had stories and stuff about. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but then yeah, last year they actually had news that they were gonna make a movie based on this character. So I don't know
Really?
what's gonna happen to production now that he's passed, but that was interesting to know.
I remember that too, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget the name of what that character was. He had a interesting name.
Was it going to be like an animated movie? Was Disney doing it or?
And it wasn't Disney, but I think it was either fully animated or like half animated, half live action. I forget what the details were, but it was interesting. It's like, wow, Sherman's still working. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Anyway, long story, Jack. They're very big.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think most of the people were real people, right? But I don't know
Yeah.
about the driver.
No,
Did
he
anybody look it
wasn't.
up? Okay.
Yeah, he was a composite of multiple people, including whoever the driver was as well. He wasn't any particular
Hmm.
person.
He was good. I mean, in terms of a plot engine, it was a good addition.
No, definitely, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Wasn't it? Yeah, good. I agree.
Like, like you guys said, like they did a really good job in this movie, not just with the acting, with the writing, with the yeah, it's also interesting to see, what parts are, true, which parts are
Yeah.
kind of true, which parts didn't happen at all. But again, it's not a documentary, it's a film based on a lot of true story.
Right. And it is itself a musical, right? I mean,
And is it so? Yeah.
The thing that stood out to me the most, like reading after the fact about what was true and what was made up,
Yeah, yeah.
the thing that stood out to me the most is the weirdest change was that in real life it was not her aunt, it was her great aunt that
Uh,
came, that served
oh,
as the model for
interesting.
Mary Poppins.
mhm.
It
Oh,
was her mother's
interesting.
aunt. So I was like, why did they need to change that detail? It seems so
Maybe for
insignificant that,
age reasons. I don't know.
yeah, I don't
Mm.
know. It just seemed like such a weird, arbitrary thing to change. Like, I feel like great aunt makes more sense, and that is the reality. So it just seems strange that they would change it to her aunt instead of her great aunt.
I think I said this last time, but that she is also even more directly the basis for another PL Travers character named Aunt Sass, who's kind of the same archetype,
Hmm.
who has her own novel.
Oh, nice.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Interesting. Is Aunt Sass a nanny? What does Aunt Sass do? Does she have a profession?
She is
Here's an ad.
okay. It's been a while. I discovered today that there is an Audible version of this that I would like to listen to and
Oh,
refresh my
interesting.
memory.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's a nanny, but I think she comes in and kind of fixes the family and takes care of the kids in a nanny-like way.
Nice.
So is this not part of the Mary Poppins series? It's a standalone?
Yeah, it's its own thing that she wrote like midway through writing the Mary Poppins books.
It's interesting that she would use the same idea twice, but with two different characters.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's true.
Well, she tried to write other things too, and none of them ever really like worked.
There we go.
So that might have something to do with it. Like she wrote, the story of Hanuman from India, the Monkey
Yeah.
King? she wrote a novel about him and people hated it. Like she really thought it was like one of her best and nobody else thought that. I've never read it. Now, someone last week said that they had criticisms of the representation of Disney himself.
Okay, that was me, and I have to eat crow. So,
Well, what did you mean? What were you thinking?
when I saw this movie originally, I seen this I think maybe once or twice before, but it's like probably not long after it came out. I remember being blown away and impressed by Emma Thompson, and I thought she got an Oscar. But Tom Hanks, for whatever reason, I just couldn't see a character. I couldn't see Walt Disney. I just saw Tom Hanks with a mustache. No matter how hard he tried, that's all I could see. But upon this recent viewing, I actually do see a character. Like I actually see, oh no, Tom Hanks actually did a really great job portraying Walt Disney. Maybe I'm just older now, or I'm just seen a lot more films since then. But like, no, his portrayal of Walt Disney has grown on me. But before, all I saw was Tom Hanks with a mustache. No, but I wasn't saying he wasn't trying, but like it just didn't convince me. But now I'm convinced that he actually did like an award-winning performance too.
Yeah, when I first watched him, it was one of those roles where at the beginning, like you said, it was Tom Hanks with a mustache. Like he did a good job.
Yeah, no,
But,
yeah.
but the further I got into the movie, the more I forgot that it was Tom Hanks.
Exactly, yeah.
I think I just had to get over seeing Tom Hanks with a mustache.
Yeah, good point.
That's probably what it was.
He definitely is a person who, regardless of the mustache, it's like it's him the whole time.
It's Tom. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There are some actors who for some people, no matter they're not bad actors. Like they're trying hard enough, but no matter what, all you could do is see that character. I mean, see that actor. You can't see the character.
He did another movie that I have avoided watching where he played Mr. Rogers. Because, like, I grew up with Mr. Rogers, and I always loved watching Mr. Rogers, but when they made the movie with Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers, like, he looks absolutely nothing like Mr. Rogers. And it's not that I've refused to watch it, it's just like, I have no interest in watching Tom Hanks pretend to be Mr. Rogers.
That was a good one, there, too, but...
I'm wondering now how I would feel if I watched it. Like, maybe I would get over it in the same way that I did with this movie.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of how I felt too about Tom Hanks playing Walt Disney, because this was like one of the first times, if not the first time, in a theatrical big release film that Walt Disney has been portrayed. Like he's been portrayed in TV films and like independent stuff before, but if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time he's been portrayed in like a big release theatrical film. So when this movie came out, like I was just concerned about that. When this movie came out, I was actually like really like kind of, what's the word they use, gatekeeping, I guess. Like part of me kind of felt bad, like this whole story of Walt Disney buying this rights from P.L. Travers is like such a it's well known amongst the Disney community, it's well known amongst the Mary Poppins community, and I kind of liked it being known like that. So part of me was kind of selfish, like, oh man, now everyone's gonna know this story, it's not gonna be special to us anymore. But thankfully. Well, not thankfully, but I mean, the movie made a lot of money, but still, I would say the story is still pretty niche. And I still don't think it's like popular general knowledge either. But I was definitely way more gatekeeping of it when I was younger.
Yeah, I don't really hear people talk about it anymore. I just know about it because like I'm a Disney fan, and it's not one that I even really think about. It just came up when I started looking into Mary Poppins for this series, and I was like, oh yeah, I definitely need to remember to do that one because I've never seen it before. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, like, yes, it made money, but I don't think it made enough of a splash to become like a massive piece of pop culture history.
Exactly. That's kind of my point. What I was trying to get at,
Yeah.
Are there other stories like this of the process of getting the rights for something with Disney that people talk about?
P.L. Travers is the only one that's like was so.
It's kind of infamous, right?
Infamous, yeah. Like, no one else really gave him that hard of a time.
Some people wanted him to, like Dodie Smith wanted him to do 101 Dalmatians. Mm-hmm. Like that was part of. I think she even was writing the book with that in mind. Like I want Walt Disney to make this story. So I think P.L. Travers is just an outlier in that she didn't want anybody touching her characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think Roald Dahl might have been one who, like, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% sure that I get this right, but Roald Dahl, I think, is one who, like, straight up just didn't I forget what there was something was gonna be made. I think it was like a
The
Gremlins.
Yeah, it was
Gremlins.
Yeah,
Gremlins, I
and
believe.
for
Yes.
whatever reason, I don't know if he couldn't get the rights to it or it just fell apart or whatever. But like that didn't get made. But
I think it fell apart. I don't know
okay,
that it wasn't that he couldn't get the rights. I feel like there is some history there. I don't remember how that all
yeah,
went. I don't think it was quite the same situation.
no, yeah. PL Travers, that one just stands out on its own.
Yeah.
In so many ways too, I just felt like this was like an almost like an art film.
Well,
Mm.
it didn't start out as a Disney movie, and that was that was
Yeah.
the one that surprised me looking into it more. It started out as an indie film. And
Yeah.
Disney came on board late in the process because they knew that they were going to need some Disney properties because they're integral to the story, obviously. So it wasn't until the producer, I think, got in touch with somebody at Disney to talk about what they could and couldn't use for the movie. And then that started people getting interested at Disney into maybe we should pick this up. I
Mhm.
think I read something like they were mulling over their options, like if they didn't want this, they could buy the rights and then just stop the process.
Oh,
But they
yeah.
decided to buy the rights and like fund it into a full-blown production. But it started out as an indie film.
Interesting.
And I think that helps the way this feels. Because like I
Yeah.
was also kind of expecting this to be more of a puff piece, I guess.
Yeah, like a Hollywood piece, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, like portraying Disney in the best light possible.
yeah.
And not that they portray like I feel like some of this has been airbrushed a little bit because they're like I know her reaction at the end of the movie is not exactly her reaction in real
Yeah.
life because like there's that quote, I can't remember the exact quote, but she's after the movie was talking about needing the penguins to be removed or get rid of the animated sequence or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and Walt just said, Pamela, the ship has sailed.
Movie's over. I'll read.
Well, yeah, I let's talk about her reaction because I do think that I feel like what I have absorbed over time
Hmm.
is the idea that her reaction was sometimes more positive and sometimes more
Hmm.
negative, just
Yeah,
like over the rest of her life.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
One thing I know for sure is that publicly she was very supportive of the movie for many years. That she felt like she wanted to be, I don't know, to bifurcate her like public reaction from what she said to some friends and letters that we
Hmm.
now have. And it seems like that there were times when she was like, well, like it's not how I would make it, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
people love it so much. Like,
Uh-huh.
mm-hmm,
that's not nothing. And then, of course, there is the matter of like she lived off that money for the rest of her life, right?
yes,
Like, so that's not nothing either.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that she didn't like aspects of the movie. But there was one quote, I don't remember the exact quote, but she talked about it being a good film, just not the film she would have made.
I think there was an interview like in the 70s where she said something about like how, she's kind of gotten used to the film and like
Hmm.
and says it's a good movie, but again, not what she would have done or something.
Yeah.
But again, also when they were going to do the stage musical in 2000, not 2000, in whenever it was with
It
Cameron
premiered in '04. I
McIntosh.
don't know when they
Oh,
started.
okay. And then Cameron McIntosh, the British producer, was going to do it. She made one thing she told him is like, I don't want any Americans working on this. Like it's only British people because of how she felt treated like during her Mary Poppins days with Walt or whatever. But
Hmm.
so
Well, and I feel like that is also a part of her like internalized,
ups and downs.
it's not quite internalized racism, but whatever you would say, like she thought that British and Irish people were superior to Australians. She was like kind of ashamed to be Australian.
I read
Yeah,
that.
And then also superior to Americans.
yeah.
I think she had some sort of a quote about being born on the wrong continent.
Hmm.
Because I think her father was Irish and she identified with him far more than anywhere else.
Yes.
Yeah, like in the movie, he's talking about Irish Hills or How I Miss It So or whatever.
Yeah.
And they apparently would like I don't know, like anytime they had animals, they would give them Irish names and like she was brought up with a very positive idea of Ireland and then I think because of some of the trauma of what happened to her in Australia, just had like a terrible idea of Australia.
Yeah. Interesting too. That yeah, I appreciate you guys know all this stuff. Thank you for sharing. Because I know so very little about P.L. Travers other than just to get kind of the cantankerous relationship she had with Walt Disney, but not knowing any specifics. And again, really enjoying this film, but not sure that it's not, it's not completely accurate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack knows the most about from us about
Yes.
P.L. Travers.
Wow. I'm sure it's about P.L. Travers.
It's fantastic.
Oh, one other thing that I know for sure is that she loved Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
Like one thing she loved about the movie and that no, Walt saw Julie Andrews on stage
Yeah.
and then wanted her to be Mary Poppins, and then he set up for them to go to lunch. And I think the story is that he was nervous, sort of reasonably nervous about how that might go. But she immediately loved her. And then she did love her in the movie. So that's one thing she loved about the movie, for sure.
Yeah, even in the movie there was a Walt Disney wanted to cut the lullaby song. I forget the name of it now, but um Julie Andrews really like Stay Awake, that's the
Stay
song.
Awake,
Stay away.
Yeah, and Julie Andrews really loved it. So she actually wrote to P.L. Travers telling them what they're gonna do, and P.L. Travers like replied back to pretty much telling Walt, you have to keep that in the movie. So
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think we talked about that when we did our original
Yeah.
Mary Poppins episode, and I think I said something like she weaponized P.L. Travers against Walt Disney to get the song she wanted to stay in the film.
Good for her. I mean,
she played that right.
yeah, know where the power is. Know what's at your, what power you can
Yeah.
access.
Absolutely. And aren't we glad it's still in the movie? Because it's really a lovely moment.
That's
like
my
it.
least favorite song in it, but that's just me.
I know Mark doesn't care for it very much, but I like that song.
I skipped that one, but
I should say for me, anytime Julie Andrews is singing, I'm happy.
yeah, that's fair.
There's a part of me that is surprised that she loved her so much. I mean, she was just really charmed by her. And so that's fair because obviously she's very charming, but
Julie Andrews, yeah.
But she's like Julie Andrews as a person, to my knowledge, is really not like the character of Mary Poppins in that way that I kept bringing up last time of like, the character is like kind of harsh.
Yeah.
And Julie Andrews is like, like terminally sweet.
Or
like
lovely.
lovable. Yeah. But she was really charmed by her.
It's the English/Irish connection between them. I don't know.
That probably helped.
That's true. There's that whole English connection. You wonder what she thought of Dick Van Dyke? Maybe not much. I don't know.
I feel like I read she did not like him.
Yeah. Based on the movie alone, where I like when her brothers were like, Van Dyke's one of the greatest. She's like looking at them, Dick Van Dyke, one of the greatest.
Yeah.
Well,
Olivier was one of the greatest.
The other thing is like that character is not so central in the books. Like he's in one story, maybe he's in more than one, but like he's really not important. Then they make him important in the movie, which I think she objected to broadly. And then, of course, what she really objected to was the idea that there would be any kind of implied romance between the two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also really didn't want there to be any kind of romantic spark between Mr. Banks and Mary, which,
I didn't hear about that one, but
that's a little more like, well, yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah.
One thing that's definitely true that I think is kind of fun is that she just went to America. Like she wasn't invited to the premiere.
Yes.
So she just went to America and then wrote to Walt and said like, hey, I guess they lost my invitation. I'm here. Please get me an invitation.
I think in real life what she did is she kind of went through like one of Walt's like someone else on Walt's team, and that's how she got the tickets to go through.
Yeah, I think I read that it was a different executive that they rewrote it to be Walt in the movie.
But yeah, Walt didn't. She didn't get an invitation originally.
And they did plan to invite her to the London premiere.
I don't know about that one, but
I think that's
I'll
true.
assume yes.
Or at least I think that's what someone said as an excuse, whether or not it was true.
Whether it was true or not.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
One thing that I did read that was changed in a way for the movie was the fact that Walt was not there for most of the time that she was in America. I think he was on a trip. So what they did was, because they had correspondence that was recorded and or written down, so they dramatized the letters and or phone calls to be them talking face to face instead of writing back and forth, which makes sense for the movie.
Right. It makes sense for the narrative, right? Or just the storytelling in the film. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have seen 1776, the musical
Yes,
film.
I have.
Yeah, and so you probably know what I'm gonna say, but like they have John Adams and Abigail Adams, and a lot of the dialogue between the two characters are taken from like real personal letters that they wrote to each other during that time.
Saltpeter John. I love that. I really do love that film.
Mm-hmm.
I do too. I have not watched it in truly maybe like 20 years, but
Oh, it's a favorite of mine. Yeah.
I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but like I grew to like it after.
we watched it in AP US history.
Oh wow, that's a long AP per US history class, unless you took breaks.
Yeah, we watched it for over a week.
Yeah, I'm sure we watched it like every Friday for a couple weeks or something.
Yeah.
Hey, nice. At least you don't have to study.
Right, exactly.
Turner Classic Movies shows it frequently. Over.
Oh yeah, probably July 4th, I'm guessing.
July 4th.
Bradley Whitford was in this too. There's so many like famous people who I know who are in this movie.
I was surprised how many people kept showing up. Paul Giamatti was the driver too.
Right.
I always felt it weird, like how BJ Novak got in this movie and Jason Schwartzman, but I mean, they didn't do a bad job, but it was like, I wonder who looked at Robert Sherman and thought BJ Novak. So
Right. So random because I think that he mostly is a writer, right?
And he does like The Office is probably his biggest thing.
Yeah, I think his role is more as a writer than an actor, but yeah.
Yeah. I think even on The Office, he was like sort of first and foremost a writer, and then they had him be that character that was small at first and got bigger.
Oh, okay, I never saw it.
You never watched The Office?
Nope.
Well, it'll always be there for you if you need a really long
Yeah, that's
show.
right. It was a long show.
The Office is one of those shows that I remember when it came out because I remember hearing how great it was, and I was like, oh, I need to watch this. And I watched the first episode and was like, man, I don't really like it. And then I never watched it again. and for years now, I've been hearing how great it is. And I love Parks and Recreation. So I'm like, I need to go back and watch The Office.
Yeah, I think you'll be rewarded. It's funny.
It's a very specific humor, but I like it. So,
From what I can tell, it looks like it would be about the same, in the same vein as Parks and Recreation. And I loved Parks and Recreation. So
yeah, same.
I'm sure I will like The Office.
Yeah, it is similar. I also prefer Parks and Rec. I prefer I mean, this is just my own bias, but I prefer a woman at the head of the
department.
Yeah, like the Leslie Knope character as a man is not quite as interesting to me, but
yes, agree. Yeah, good call.
But there are some really funny women in The Office, so if you hang on, the Office at the very beginning is a little bit more of like a will they won't they heterosexual romance, and then as you go it becomes more like a full cast ensemble
comedy.
Yeah, which that's when it really hits for me the most.
It's probably similar to Parks and Recreation because I remember the first season was not the greatest, but it was also really short.
Oh yeah, very short, right?
And then the next season was when it really took off.
They added Rob Lowe and
Chris Pratt.
And it just took off.
I think Chris Pratt was a guest in the first season, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was stuck in a pit.
Oh, that's right.
How did that go? I think he was stuck in a pit for a bunch of it.
Was he the shoe shine boy or something? Yeah.
Yes.
I remember. It's been so long since I watched it because I was watching it as it came out.
My husband's favorite show ever is 30 Rock. And I think of Parks and Rec. It is kind of a sibling cousin show to The Office, but also I think to 30 Rock. They're all kind of an extended family.
30 Rock is another one that I tried to get into, but what's his name? The main guy, I don't like him. He annoys me.
Alec Baldwin.
Tracy
Yes,
Jordan. Oh, Alec
Alec
Baldwin.
Baldwin. Like every time he talks, he just annoys me, and I'm like, I can't stand this character. So I never finished watching even the first
Oh, that's
episode.
funny.
I love Tina Fey. Like
I do like him, but I feel mixed about Tracy Jordan. And I love Tina. I mean, I love Tina.
I feel like if I could get into 30 Rock, I would love it. But he annoyed me, and I couldn't get past it. And I was just like, oh, I need to watch something else.
Yeah, that I mean, if you don't like him, then don't waste your time. Okay, I have to say my favorite scene, which maybe isn't a surprise, like it's sort of like made in a lab to make you have feelings. But when they have her start singing Let's Go Fly a Kite with the
Oh, yeah.
writers,
Mm,
every time I'm like, oh, my heart.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love that scene. I love that song.
Yeah, I did too.
That was a good song, yeah. Yeah, Richard Sherman said in real life, Feed the Birds was the song that got her, not Let's Go Fly a Kite.
Oh,
That
wow.
was,
Okay.
yeah. So that was the scene they just kind of made for the movie, I guess.
And see, and Feed the Birds was the song supposed to, well, I don't think it's necessarily
Walt's
supposed, Walt
yeah.
Disney's favorite song. And he'd have, when the Sherman brothers were on site, he'd have him come up to his office and play, on that piano. I'm going to send you that video
Yeah.
and play Feed the Birds for Walt.
That's so fun. My favorite, I might have said this last time, but my favorite is Chim Chim Cherry, but Feed the Birds
That's
is
a
the
good one,
close
yeah.
second. I
Mhm.
think Chim Chim Cherry won the Oscar for Best Song that year.
Yeah, Chim Chim Cherry one.
I think they probably changed it to Let's Go Fly a Kite because it fit more with the story about her wanting Mr. Banks to be a nicer character.
Mhm.
Because that is a good turning point for him in the
Yeah.
movie. So it made sense.
Exactly. Yeah, it really fits, doesn't it? Well, hello, the title of the film.
It's also like Feed the Birds, you could do it, but it would be a very different feeling in the scene because the song has a different feeling. Like
Yeah.
Let's Go Fly a Kite is kind of soaring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feed the Birds is more what's the word?
Well, more contemplative. I don't know. That's probably not the word you're looking for, Mark. But
There's
it's
there's adjective they use. I forget. It's escaping me right now. But yeah, something like that.
whereas Let's Go Fly Clyde is joyful, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
exuberant.
Let's Go Fly Kite is like happy tears, and Feed the Birds is
Melancholy tears.
Melancholy, yeah.
Well, it is like, I mean, is the bird woman homeless? Like, is it about a homeless person? I guess that's not exactly clear.
yeah. Like it's not even clear if she like even if she dies at the end. Like when Mr. Banks walks to the bank to be fired, like he doesn't see her at the steeple on the stairs. So like some people interpret it that she's died.
Huh.
But also it's like late at night, so I'm sure she's not gonna be there that late anyway.
Right. She could be at home if
Sleeping.
she's not homeless.
Exactly.
I was looking at the Oscars that the movie won, that Mary Poppins won.
Mhm.
So it won Best Actress, Best Film Editing, Best Score, Best Song, and Best Special Visual Effects.
I think it was Walt Disney's most Oscar-winning film he ever.
Oh, wow. Is that true?
produced. Yeah. Mhm.
More than Snow White when he got one Oscar and 7 little Oscars.
We don't count though.
It's just it counts as one, even though the award itself is so cute.
That was a sympathy prize.
What did it lose Best Picture to?
I think My Fair Lady.
I think
okay.
My Fair Lady won Best Picture, but Julie Andrews won
Julie Andrews won.
Best Actress.
And the weird thing is that Julie Andrews played Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady on stage, so
Indeed.
And I think famously, didn't get the role for the movie because she wasn't a really much of an established Hollywood star at the time. Yeah.
But ironically, Mary Poppins changed that, and then Sound of Music right after.
Yeah.
She would never lose that spot of fame.
Exactly.
I don't think I had a favorite scene in the film overall, but I think my favorite aspect of the film overall, like for me, this was like a Disney fan's dream, like seeing all the little Easter eggs and little nods and winks to like Walt Disney and his time, and like the studio at his time, like seeing all the Disney movie posters on the wall and seeing like the pictures of like Florida, so where he's planning out his future Disney World project, seeing Disneyland, how it looked, how it, quote unquote, supposed to look back in the day, and like
Yeah, because they filmed those scenes at Disneyland, right? I think they brought in set pieces and things and probably some of it was CGI, but I remember seeing pictures of kind of like behind the scenes of them doctoring up Disneyland.
I didn't realize that.
To make it look like it would have back, there in the 60s.
I read that they made it look almost identical to how it would have looked. There's apparently one scene where you can see something in the background kind of blurry that is more modern, like it was added in the 80s. But for most people, like I've never been there myself, I would not know. Like it would have to be somebody who's like extremely familiar with Disneyland and when things were added to even notice something like that. Otherwise, from what I've read, it was very accurate.
Well, we know that there are fans who probably do know what it looked like in every era, right?
Probably.
Stanford's one.
I know, I'm kind of one, but I'm trying to remember. I think I had read what that quote unquote, what do you call that when is it a gaffe or something? I don't know, when they
like a goof or something.
Yeah, that something enters in the frame that's kind of unintended. Anyway, I thought they did a remarkable job of making it look. Again, I don't know what it looked like, then I wasn't born, but still, I love the park and I've been there a bunch, and I thought they did a really wonderful job of making it feel like it was, from the 1960s.
Have you ever been to Tokyo Disney?
I have, yes. How about you?
I haven't, but I know a lot of people say that's the best Disney park.
I've heard people say that too, like that's really good.
There are two parks there. They have a Disneyland park, so a castle park. And then they have this park adjacent to it. Rather than Disneyland, they call it Disney Sea. So Tokyo Disney Sea.
I've only just got that Disneyland and Disney Sea.
And the Disney Sea park is off the charts. I mean, it's really something. Yeah. I think still, frankly, Disneyland in California is my favorite just because it's, that was my childhood. But
yeah,
Disney Sea is remarkable. I mean, if you get a chance to go. It's amazing.
I will go someday for sure. I think every time I've been to Tokyo, I've felt like I had other priorities for my time.
Exactly. Rather than go to Disney.
Well, I would do it. I mean, I do think I would have fun. And I do plan to do it someday, but it's like now that I've really done all of the major highlights of Tokyo, and I feel like, okay.
And now I get squeezed.
Now I can like really rationalize this. Yeah.
I'd like to visit all the parks one day, and like in my life, I think that'd be a fun goal to try.
Where can you name them? It's Paris, Hong Kong, Tokyo.
I've been to all of them. It was one of my goals too, and I was able to hit it.
Oh wow, that's cool.
No. So let's see. Paris, Hong Kong, Tokyo, and 2 in the US. And you said there's one in Shanghai?
Yeah, that's the most recent one, the one that opened up in Shanghai. Yeah.
And you've been to that one?
I have.
That's cool. What is that one also very different?
It's quite different. I mean, there's a castle there, right? And themed lands. It's got a lot of, I think, stuff added just specifically for the Chinese market. And but I thought it was a lovely park. I was very happy to see it. And some of the rides are just on steroids. They had this Pirates of the Caribbean ride that just knocks your socks off. I think purists don't necessarily like it because they use a lot. They use a couple of really like IMAX size screens. You're in a boat still, but
oh wow.
Part of the ride, you have this giant screen thing happening, and then all these amazing animatronics and cool special effects. It's really, I think you go backwards at one point. It's tremendous. And then they have a Tron roller coaster there, which they have recently opened up an identical version of it in the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World in Florida. That Tron ride, oh my goodness. It's so cool.
We're getting a new Tron movie this year.
Tron movie.
Tron 3, that'd be nice.
I'm stoked. I hope it's good.
I do too. I loved the second one, so.
I did too. And the first one is just a sentimental favorite. I don't think it's necessarily a great film, but I love the look of it.
Yeah.
I really like the first one. I don't remember what I thought of the second. I have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I have to rewatch it before. I think October, right, is when the new Tron movie comes out.
Yeah, and what I love about that, I know we're a little off topic a bit.
Jack, you get used to that on these podcasts.
Okay.
We go off topic.
Well,
you're in the right crowd. Don't worry.
okay, good. Well, what's really good about Tron 2 or whatever, what is it? Tron Uprising? Is that what it is? No, that's the TV show.
Yeah, it's called Tron Legacy is the second film. Yeah.
Okay, Tron Legacy.
Tron Uprising, by the way, was a very underrated show. Just saying.
Yeah,
I agree.
no,
I liked it too.
listen, if anybody out there has any affection for Tron and hasn't watched Tron Uprising, like you will
Do
not
it.
regret it. Yeah.
It was something. Yeah.
But the music, the score with the second one is done by Daft Punk, and I really think it makes the movie. And they have broken up since then, but Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor is going to do this score, which I'm like, well, I loved the Trent Reznor work on the Social Network score, so I'm like, this could be great, actually.
I think there's great potential too. I know that. I mean, I'm sad that it's not Daft Punk again, but Nine Inch Nails, that was a really cool choice, and I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, fingers crossed. The trailer. I don't know if you've seen the trailer. It sure looked. The trailer I thought looked great, but
yeah.
I think my only hesitation is that they're bringing the world of Tron into the real world, and that's what I'm a little cautious about.
Well,
how
one of the things I saw too, the other one is that Jared Leto's in it.
Well, yeah,
it was just like, strike three. You're out. I don't necessarily have that strong feelings about him, but still.
No, I tend to agree.
And it's directed by one of the directors of was the Pirates of the Caribbean 5.
And he also directed that Daisy Ridley film, Young Woman in the Sea.
Okay. Oh, and I think he did Maleficent too, right?
Oh, did he? Probably. Okay.
Maybe, yeah. So
that Daisy Ridley movie, I didn't really care for that.
I saw that
movie very much. I thought that was a lovely film. Tron is very different than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, fingers crossed.
Now, well, as we're talking about Disney parks, what are there Mary Poppins rides anywhere?
That's a wonderful question.
No, there was going to be one in the Epcot park that they announced, but then when COVID hit,
did they announce it or officially,
yes.
Or was it still rumored?
It was announced. They had a poster for it. I was there. I said,
and what was it?
It was a presentation. Well, that's the thing. They didn't give a lot of details, but in the Epcot park, it was going to be in the United Kingdom pavilion.
Well, okay, that makes sense.
And the concept art showed that basically they were going to build a cherry tree lane.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, isn't there a cherry tree lane somewhere? Because I felt like I had seen pictures of a cherry tree lane, but maybe that's what you're talking about. Maybe it didn't happen.
I think it might have been the concept art, Jonathan. I'm not again 100% sure, but I know that there was concept art for it. They never really announced what the attraction was going to be, and so there was a lot of speculation of what it was, and that it was also going to get like cost cut or something. It was just going to be like a carousel or something, But,
they could do just a carousel. I mean, that would kind of make sense.
Yeah, but again, it never came to fruition. It was one of the many things that got cut when the pandemic hit, and Disney had to close their parks for a year.
I think also, my guess also is the fact that Mary Poppins Returns wasn't like a super duper amazing success financially. Like it made money, but it wasn't like $1 billion at the box office or something. I think that also could have played a part in halting that project.
I'm not a pro with this. I know for sure at Disneyland they have a Jolly Holiday Cafe. It's just it's a quick service restaurant, and that's themed to Mary Poppins. So that's cute, but it's not like it's not a ride by any means. It's just like on the signage there's a penguin, or something, and in the queue there's like kind of little artistic things that are representative of the film.
I'm trying to think of all the things in the movies that could be a ride. I think the thing that would make the most sense would be, what's the song? The one where they go under the sea through the bathtub. That feels like it could be a ride.
Oh, can you imagine that?
Yes, can you imagine that? Yeah, if you start in a bathtub and then dive into the ocean and then I don't know if it'd be a roller coaster, but I feel like that sequence would make the most sense as a ride.
Oh, well, didn't they used to have, maybe this is a different theme park that had like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea kind of a ride that was
That
like
was
that?
in the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. They had a submarine ride, and you rode in a Nautilus. I mean, that's the shape of the
Aw.
submarine from the 20,000 Leagues film. It was, again, I only rode it once as a kid, and then they closed it, and it's been closed for many years. And they filled in the lagoon.
I remember riding it as a kid too. Yeah.
Wasn't the Finding Nemo submarine ride in Disneyland? Wasn't that originally 20,000 Leagues also, or is that something else?
That's a really good question. I always thought it was the submarine voyage, but
Oh, okay.
and also that the subs were designed to look more like nuclear subs.
Hmm.
But and again, as a kid, I don't ever remember it having like any kind of a Jules Verne type of feel to it. But I could be wrong because it was it was a long time ago. I could definitely be wrong. We should look it up and verify that. Yeah.
I forgot that 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was Disney. I loved that movie as a
That was a
kid.
really great movie. Yeah. It's one of my favorite live action Disney movies.
Yeah, I love that movie too. And it holds up well, I think, too. It really,
I remember watching it as a kid, but I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
yeah, I
I should
watched
probably
Probably
do
it.
a
better
podcast
now.
on that one of these days.
I think it might be worth your time. Might be worth your time, John, because I think it's a terrific film.
It's Kirk
Yeah.
Douglas, a Disney movie,
Yeah, Kirk
and
Douglas.
Peter Lorre, and
I've drawn a blank on the other great actor who plays Captain Nemo.
oh yeah, James Mason.
James Mason, thank you. Yes.
Like like his most famous role, probably.
Yeah.
Approximately what year do you think that was?
I think it was like 1951.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was in the
Does
50s.
that
Yeah,
sound right? Early 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say 55, but I let's look it up. Let me check.
Do you know what? While Mark's looking that up, one of the songs that I thought would work for a ride was that "Nowhere to Go But Up." Wouldn't that be fun
Yep.
to like ride a balloon or something
Oh,
Ooh,
that would be perfect. Yeah.
yeah.
as well? But
Sorry, that was 1954.
1954. Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, nowhere to go from up, but up could be good. And I wouldn't say no to just like a carousel.
I was thinking that too when I was watching it. I was like, that could be a ride at Disneyland if they could make this carousel into a thing that you could ride.
They have a carousel that's Cinderella based, at least here in Magic Kingdom. They could retheme it for Mary Poppins, I guess.
But see, I think as a kid, what I wanted was to like have the horses break off from
Come
the
off.
carousel,
Yes.
like and then you actually go through.
Oh, with their trackless technology, they could do that now. That'd be
Something
great.
They could,
cool like
yeah.
that would be really, I think that would be delightful. Maybe, they say that at Walt Disney Imagineering, ideas never die. You hope that someday when there's money or interest that will get revived.
I know Disney's gonna have to step up their game with Universal opening Epic Park soon here, and then they've announced a new park in England. So like I feel Disney's gonna be trying to battle that with a new park somewhere, but we'll see.
I wish Disney would do something in the Midwest. I think they should do something in Marceline, Missouri.
I always thought they should have a third park in the middle.
I feel like there was talks at one point years and years ago where they were, but then they never did. But like I'm in Iowa. I'm in the middle of the US and I can't afford to travel that often. I can't always make it to where I want to go. But if they put something in Missouri, I could make it
You could get
6 hour
there.
trip or
Yeah,
however long it would be
absolutely.
from where I am. That's not that far. That's much more doable for me. And plus, like Missouri, it's where Walt Disney was born. It makes perfect sense to do
That's
something
true.
there.
I think they feel they won't make us enough money because like internationals won't be flying to Missouri. They're gonna go to California or Florida, so you're only gonna get like national local traffic to that park. And
Just make it a small park. It doesn't need to be a massive thing. And they could lean more into the Americana if they do it in the Midwest, and that would attract different people than just the Disney buffs.
well, let's talk to the guy in charge.
I know.
It's also not
Exactly.
it's not that easy to get to Anaheim from, China or whatever. I mean, I guess if you're in China, you go to
But
Shanghai, but
yeah, or Tokyo or
Or Hong
something.
Kong. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, or Hong Kong. But I do think it's like I've always thought like people talk about Disneyland in LA, and I'm like, well, it's not really LA.
It's not in LA. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Good point.
I guess it's kind of like saying Disney World is in Orlando, but it's not really in Orlando.
That's true. That feels less untrue to me, but I also don't know. I've spent more time
Yeah.
in LA,
Okay.
and I've thought about going, and every time it's like, oh, it's not really very close.
Yeah. You have to go to Anaheim.
Right,
My
right.
cousin and I went to 2 years ago. We went to LA for a trip, and going to Disneyland was on our list. It was the first time either of us would have gone to that park. So we actually, for the time we were doing that park, we got an Airbnb that was right up the road in Anaheim. So we had to make
Mhm.
sure to go there. Then when we went to LA for the LA stuff, we got another Airbnb for that part. But
I really want to go to a Mario park. I think there's two of them now.
well, yeah, the Epic Park that's opening here in Universal's next park, they're gonna have a Mario land, a Nintendo land there. So, and then there's one in California already.
And I think there's one in Japan, right?
Oh, okay. Yes, you're
I
right.
think there is one. Yeah,
Hmm.
at one of those Universal parks in Japan, or the is it in Osaka? Where is that Universal?
I'm not sure, but it's not in Tokyo,
It's not in
right?
Tokyo, right? Yeah.
That's the original one, I think.
Is there just one Universal Park in Japan? Sorry.
If I had to just guess, I think that's right. I think there's only one, but I'm not sure.
It's always weird to me. Like I never hear people say they've gone to Universal in any other Universal besides the one in Florida or
Florida.
In
California.
Florida.
I can never hear, even California. I never hear people say they've gone to the one in Australia, for example. I think there's one there.
Is there one there? I've never heard of one. I've only heard of Florida and California.
No, yeah, Universal isn't as popular in terms of like people knowing about it in terms of like where they are as like Disney
Well,
is for some reason.
not quite as big of a unified brand, right? Like
Yeah,
Disney is
you're
such a
right.
unified brand, but
Hmm.
then people love some of these individual properties that are a part of Universal. Like obviously people love Harry Potter, and so they'll
Yeah.
go for that and then I think enjoy the other things. And I think that's true of
No, you're
Mario
right. Yeah.
too.
If I went, I'd be going for Jurassic Park and then enjoy the other things.
And how to Train Your Dragon World, that's gonna be something
Oh,
that
yeah.
opens.
That looks pretty great.
We're getting another one of those this year, next year.
This summer,
May, I
if I'm not
think.
mistaken,
Yeah.
it's a
I think.
CGI live action remake,
Oh, sorry, the movie.
like
Okay,
a
no.
photorealistic CGI. Although the dragons look like the exact same
Yeah.
animatics,
Well,
the exact same
Toothless
models
does.
of what they used.
The other ones from the looks I've seen of them, they looks like slightly less cartoony because some of them are really goofy looking in the animated ones, like purposely so. They look good for what
Right.
Right.
for an animated movie, but they've made them more realistic in quotation marks. Like they're dragons, but you know what I mean.
The main dragon,
He
I
looks the
forget.
same.
He looks the
Tooth
same.
Toothless.
Toothless.
Yeah.
Toothless.
Toothless,
Yeah.
toothless, yeah.
What I understand is that this is, I think, supposedly like almost like a shot for shot remake, kind of like what Disney
Psycho.
did to The Lion King. But so they just made it CGI, but it's like
I hope it's not, but I won't be surprised if it is.
Yeah.
I'm just scared that if this is a hit, then DreamWorks is gonna get into this. I could just see a live
They've
action
already
Shrek
announced the
coming.
second one. They're making one that's coming out in 2027. They were already working on a second How to Train Your Dragon live action.
I just see a live action Shrek coming. I see a live action.
oh, I do too. I mean, they're gonna follow. I mean, Disney's made so much money off of the atrocity. I hate the practice. Sorry, I think it's so disrespectful.
Sorry, Jack. I don't know where you guys stand on this, but we're not.
Yeah, Mark and I have had discussions about this. I won't.
No, I agree. I mean, I think I have liked a couple. I kind of like Maleficent, but it's a little bit different.
Oh, Jonathan, you found your guy who liked Maleficent. There you go. You're looking for
But
someone.
because it's different, and I agree with you because it's this when they're trying to like truly remake one of these animated films. I think like why? Like if you want to see The Lion King, let's watch The Lion King.
Yeah.
Oh, and I kind of liked the Alice, but that's also a little different.
But they made it different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best
Yeah.
ones are the ones where they do their own thing with it.
Yeah.
Like it most people would cite Cinderella as their favorite, but I see that one as more just a retelling of the Cinderella fairy tale rather than trying to remake the original Disney animated version.
Yeah.
I have not seen that one, but I would.
It's good.
I don't have any interest in. Oh, you know what? My kind of favorite thing to say is when people will say the live action Lion King. I'm like, that is animated. That's entire. There are no humans. It's entirely animated.
It's like, where are the talking lions they filmed? Are they in there?
What part of the Serengeti?
What part of the continent are they?
I think we've talked about it before, but I want a live action Lion King, but it's the stage show. I just want to see the stage show.
Totally.
Give me that.
Yes.
Exactly, Jonathan. That's beautiful. Yeah. Just artistic and lovely, amazing.
I've heard it's amazing. I want to see it for myself.
Yeah, it is. It's really, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it, and I saw it closer to when it was really like, I don't know, like the hot thing on Broadway. But I was like really pretty wowed. I mean, I like puppets.
I saw it in 2018 in UK, and it was still really good. So
Yeah,
the puppets, yeah, same here. It's that the puppets are remarkable, I think, and just so inventive,
so it's masterful what they've done there because it's
Yeah.
like costumes plus puppetry plus shadow art plus like everything they can get their hands on.
and the music they added was not bad. Like I feel like sometimes you're excited to hear the familiar songs, and then the songs that they add are kind of like, eh. But I thought that the additions were pretty good.
Ditto. Yeah.
Some of them I think some of them I think were written at the time of the original movie and got cut or something. Does that sound right?
I think so. I think He Lives in You might have been that, or that was written specifically for the show. I can't
No, I
remember.
think that's right. I think He Lives in You was on
On that
like a
Rhythm of the Pride
secondary.
Lands
Yes.
album,
I'm
which
so
I
glad you know
love.
that. Yeah, me
I
too.
love that album.
I don't
Yeah.
know why I had it on cassette tape, but I did have it, and I loved, and that was my favorite
Yes.
song on it.
Same here, Jack. I love that song. And I'm so happy that they included it in that stage production because it's so great.
Yeah, that song reminds me of If I Never Knew You from
Pocahontas,
Pocahontas,
yeah.
which
Oh,
is like I think
yeah.
it's in the movie for like a split second and it's highly truncated, but then it was on the CDs and I fell in love with it.
Yes.
In the 2005 DVD release of Pocahontas, they reanimated that song and actually put the sequence in the film. So if you
Oh,
have that
interesting.
version, yeah, you could see it on YouTube,
You
I
can
think.
see it. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So if you have that version of the film, they actually like did put in that scene and you hear the song in its full. So that's nice. Oh, and also, yeah, I was wrong. It wasn't Universal Studios in Australia. It's Singapore. That's where it is.
Oh, there's one in Singapore. That's
Wow.
right. Okay. I knew that there was some other international one that I just,
And there's one in the UK coming soon. I'm so excited about that one.
yeah.
Wait, where are you? Are you in the UK?
Nope, I'm in Orlando, but
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
Got
it'll
it,
give
got
me
it.
a chance I'll definitely want to visit that one because I think
You want to go visit? Yeah.
there's rumors that they're bringing like a Back to the Future land there again. So like, oh, I have to see that.
Oh, that's cool.
But speaking of Mary Poppins,
Saving Mr. Banks.
oh yeah, that's what it is. Mr. Banks.
But again, just a quick reprise. I thought those scenes they filmed at Disneyland were really great.
Oh yeah, that's how we got on this.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
That sequence was really cool, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And also just like just, she has this iconic scene in the books on a carousel and then she won't get on it, right? It's a very good, example of
Yes.
her as a character.
I
Yeah.
love that scene. Winning the bet.
Like, you just paid me $20.
One scene that stood out to me, like, I wouldn't say it's like a favorite scene, but I think it was one of the first scenes that was like, oh, this is really touching, was when she went and got the Mickey Mouse plush
Mm.
Like she had stuffed it in the corner. She was annoyed at all these plushes, and then she stuck that one in the corner. But then when she went and picked it up and sort of cuddled with it, it's like, oh, that's really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I noticed that part.
Yeah.
And then she goes into the premiere with Mickey, right?
Yeah,
With the quote unquote real Mickey.
the person in the costume.
Walk around Mickey, right? Or
Right,
whatever they call, yeah.
like fursuit Mickey.
And in that scene, you can see somebody playing Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Like
Yeah,
it wasn't something like they pointed it out in the movie, like there's Julie
no.
Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. But I saw them and I was like, is that supposed to be Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke? So I looked it up afterwards. I was like, yes, it was. So
They're
It's
uncredited,
silent
aren't they?
cameos.
yeah, they did a good job finding somebody to look similar enough. Like it didn't look exactly like them,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's about as close as Tom Hanks to Walt Disney.
Right.
I thought they did a good job finding somebody who was like, that's who that's supposed to be, because I noticed it without them pointing it out in the movie.
Mm.
I think the scene in this movie, which is like totally just made up, was which I guess is important in the movie, is when Walt actually flies to England, try one last time to
Oh,
get P.L. Travers to give up the rights.
right. Okay, that
Because
didn't really happen.
no,
Interesting.
Walt Disney had already had the rights. Like he wasn't actually actively trying to get the rights from her at this time. He had already had the rights from her, and
That's right.
he
That's right.
never. So he had visited her before, like during that whole 20-year process. But that particular scene, I don't know how I feel about that. But like, I mean, I guess it's a movie. They have to put some sort of way to bring about the plot at the end.
Right. You know what I noticed this time was the movie starts with her housekeeper having quit, right? Or she had to
Oh
let
yeah,
her go.
I think she fired her.
Doesn't she
Yeah.
fire her? Yeah.
Okay. Well, still, the first Mary Poppins novel starts with the previous nanny having disappeared, and I felt like,
oh,
oh, are they trying to do like a parallel with her life in this movie that with the
mhm.
book? And I think that is what they were trying to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
That's interesting. Interesting to hear that perspective because I felt that was reminiscent in a way of, again, what's going on with the Banks family, right? But
Yeah.
that's good to know that it truly probably truly was. Yeah.
Hmm.
What was it? It's is it from the first book then, Jack, too? Is that what you're saying? Is that just from the
Yeah,
the
Nanny.
first chapter in
The book starts with like introducing the characters in the family and or everyone who's in the house, which includes like Robertson A, who's like the handyman, odd jobs person. And then they say like I think it's Nanny Kate was the previous one, and then the narration says like she hardly warrants being included in this list because she's already gone before the action takes place, and her departure precipitates what came next.
Like it reminds me of like Les Miserables, the book. It starts with the first sentence is pretty much something about like what I'm about to relate to you has not related to the plot at all, but in the sake of act of completionist, I will relate it to you.
Mm,
And it's just about like the bishop's backstory, I think.
mm.
But anyway,
Have
just
you
wanted
read
to
the
bring that.
whole Les Miserables book? It's
I
long,
have
right?
actually, it's like 1,400 pages. That's probably the longest book I've read. The good thing though is that the parts of it I skimmed because Victor Hugo has a habit of going on tangents that have nothing to do with the plot, like I just mentioned. So those tangents parts, I kind of didn't read. Like at the end when Javert and not Javert, Jean Valjean is in the sewers. Victor Hugo goes, "Hey, let me give you a history of the French sewers," and he goes on for like
Mm.
20, 30 pages of the French sewers, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to read that part.
Well, I guess that's how you get to 1,400.
You're right. You got a lot of
Exactly.
stuff going on.
There's a lot of just I think they used to get paid by the word count too back then
Yeah.
too. So
They say that about Haruki Murakami in Japan, that he gets paid by the page, so then he writes more pages.
oh nice. Is he a famous
Oh,
manga
yeah.
writer?
Not manga, but like novels, I guess. But I
Oh no,
think that
okay.
he publishes them in magazines chapter by chapter.
Oh, okay, like a serial kind of.
Yeah, like a serial novel. And so like making it go on longer, you end up getting more paycheck.
That's
Which
smart.
is, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And it's like, I don't know if that's like the best for the story
Yeah.
necessarily, but
Yeah, I just gotta make a living somehow.
whatever. Yeah. Work with your situation you're in.
I know that we kind of touched on this, but based on what we know, and maybe this is more based on what Jack knows, as Jack's our
Yeah.
resident pro.
He's a Travers
Do you
guy.
feel like Emma Thompson, and also the screenwriters, did they capture kind of the essence of Peel Travers as an individual?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I do. I think it really works. But, I didn't know her. I mean,
Yeah.
I've read her biography. But yeah, I like the representation. But what about y'all? I mean,
I definitely liked her performance. I thought that was an Oscar-winning performance, and I was upset that she wasn't even nominated for that.
hmm.
I think she's such a fine actress. I thought she did a wonderful job, but again, I had only heard like little bits and pieces kind of Disney fandom about the difficulty of Peel Travers, so I just didn't feel like I have even close to the knowledge to say, oh wow, that's a really accurate portrayal, of
Even
her.
at the end of the movie, like the
Yeah.
credits, they actually play some of the recorded
Oh,
conversations
uh-huh.
from the real Pamela Travers and the Sherman brothers and Don
Yeah.
DeGrady and whatever.
That's what I was going to say because I don't know. Like, I'm obviously not an expert. I know the Disney lore behind her. So I don't know her. Watching her performance in the movie, this felt like the character that I had read about in the Disney lore, but I wouldn't know for sure. But then during the credits, when they played those clips, I was like, yeah, this feels like the same person that Emma Thompson was playing.
Yeah, that's how I felt too.
And I think, I mean, what's really key is that they managed to portray her as like prickly and, critical and like a little bit rude, but still ultimately very lovable. Like, I mean, that's the Pamela Travers that I feel like I know.
I
Hmm.
think she's very firm, and I think I find that a lot in Mary Poppins' character as well. Like
Yes.
they're not. I wouldn't call them mean or even stern. I think is too hard a word, but they're very firm in what they want to accomplish or what their beliefs are or whatever. And I think that's they did that well.
Yeah, I might call them like no nonsense,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is funny because a lot of what's in the movie and even in the novel is like, kind of nonsensical.
Yes.
I do wonder, like, I just don't know enough about like the Edwardian period, but it's like, is that a cultural thing for the period? Maybe to some extent, or for a nanny
Well,
in the period.
the British culture in general is just, especially that area, is very, upper crusty. At least with the upper class.
Yes, and I think also with the servants or like I don't know, the working class that directly served the upper class and like lived in their houses, I think they also thought of themselves like that. But I don't know for sure. I'm not, I'm not an expert.
We need an English historian on this podcast.
Well, I guess I have the same question. I know we had touched on this also a little bit, but Walt Disney, I mean, we clearly the Tom Hanksness of it all is ever present, right? You're just like, this
Yeah,
is an actor that we know really well.
yeah. It's like a double-edged sword.
But do we feel, I mean, what do you think? Again, again, I thought his performance was fine, but I also don't know if like, did this bring truly any insights into Walt Disney as an individual, as a person?
Well, let me ask you this for the Disney heads. Did you think it was surprising that they showed him smoking? Like that they allowed that?
It was surprising because that's something they generally don't like to show, and Walt himself didn't like, kids seeing him smoke and whatnot. But the only reason they
And
showed
he
it,
even says that in the movie.
yeah, the only reason they showed that is Tom Hanks was insistent upon showing
Did they
that.
show him taking a drag on the cigarette, though?
No, he just put it out.
But he
Yeah.
wasn't actually putting it to his lips.
No, he was putting it out. Yeah, he wasn't.
Because I think I read that they didn't want that at all. But I think Tom Hanks and somebody else maybe insisted because like that is true to Walt.
Right.
And then they also had the heavy smoker's cough in the background
Yeah.
when he's like off in another room,
Well,
which I liked that touch because like yeah, that's at least from what I know of Walt, that would be true.
isn't it kind of how he died? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he died
Yeah.
of lung cancer.
it's sad too because like this is 1964 the movie comes out, so we're like as Disney fans we're also watching like the ending of Walt's life because he died in 66. He only lived 2 more years after that.
Oh
So
wow.
this is pretty much like his that's so like Mary Poppins is like a big magnum opus of his because it's also like one of the last big things he did,
Yeah.
movie wise. I mean,
For me, I mean, my main familiarity with Walt Disney was seeing reruns as a kid of like The Wonderful World of Disney or The Wonderful World of
Yes.
Color, those shows that he would introduce, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, just kind of the mythos around him. So I thought Tom Hanks did a fine job because again, I think he's just a very fine actor. But I don't know if it really captured what I thought. I mean, I don't, frankly, I don't know.
no, I agree. Like, if this was more of a biopic of Walt Disney, if he was more the main character, I think they probably would have gone more in that direction. But I think they're still, P.L. Travers is kind of the main character in the movie. And Walt Disney's I don't want to even say side character, but like,
No, but he is like a secondary character in the
Which
film.
that surprised me too, because when I went into this, I was expecting this to be about Walt trying
mm,
to get rights for the movie from P.L. Travers. I was
which
not,
kind of was.
I was, for whatever reason, I did not know this was a biopic of P.L. Travers. I thought this was just about Walt trying to get the rights to her book.
Well, and the thing that really puts it over the top of it being really about her and not about him is that we get so much time in Australia.
Yes.
Exactly.
Which I was not expecting, but I appreciate that because it made her make so much more sense as not just a character, but as a person.
And that it was like why she didn't want. I do think this is true that her projection onto the characters of her family story is why she was so ambivalent about giving up the rights.
Yeah.
I mean, her dad worked at a bank, like it was her dad.
Yeah,
It's like, how more obvious can you get?
right.
Right.
Good point. Yes.
And like one little tidbit that I know is definitely true was that, in Saving Mr. Banks, she says like you have to use this kind of measuring tape.
Hmm.
And she's like wanting them to use the measuring tape that her family used when she was growing up in Australia. And that is true, from my understanding, that she did make that request and that it was like a projection.
Now that you mention it, Jack, like the idea just came to me, like how you mentioned how one of the reasons we think this, like Travers is the main character, and this is because we see the flashbacks of her life in Australia. I was thinking, I wonder what the movie would have been like if we also were seeing flashbacks of Walt Disney's early life at
Right.
different points of this, like when he's going through his difficulties with P.L. Travers as well. So maybe we're seeing flashbacks of his like his paper route that he talks about, or his early days getting started as well, when with the Mickey Mouse and the whole Oswald drama and losing the rights to that and whatnot. So
Well, I
that's
do think
interesting.
that there's a way in which their stories are similar, but also like contrasting because they were both from these kind of more rural backgrounds, but she like wanted to hide that she was from Australia. She wasn't proud of it. She wanted to like make herself sort of upper class English. And he was more like, well, I mean, tell me if you think this is accurate, but I think he more like celebrated his humble beginnings and like
Hmm.
wore it as a badge of honor almost and like
Yeah,
saw himself as a success story in a very different way than her.
Yeah.
I would say that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
You could do a movie more like a sort of about that contrast.
Hmm. One of my favorite line, or not just lines, but like Easter eggs in the film is when Bradley Whitford as Don he says, "Man is in the forest," which is something the animators would say when Walt Disney's in the like around.
Oh, yes.
So I love that so much.
When that happened, I just burst out laughing, and Sarah was looking at me like, what on earth is wrong with
Exactly,
you?
only Disney fans would get that one. I think one thing I want to mention is the actress Ruth Wilson who played her mom. This year was like one of the she acted in two Disney films. This year she acted in this, and she acted in Lone Ranger in 2013. And I always thought that she was like a really good actress. So like I thought, oh okay, I could see her like becoming really big. And I think she's done stuff since then. I don't know if she's like a big star, but like I really thought she did a great job in her performance.
She was very good. I didn't realize that I had
Yeah.
known who she was until I looked her up and I was like, oh, she was in that Lone Ranger movie, which I guess I only saw once. I saw it in the theater and I don't think I saw it since. I remember liking it, but I had forgotten that she was in that movie.
I think she's just busy. It seems like I bet if we looked on her IMDb page, I think she does a lot of acting. But yeah, she might not necessarily be like a huge quote unquote star, right? But
Yeah, but she works a
seems
lot.
like I think she works a lot. Yeah.
Mhm.
I could be wrong, but yeah, she was very good.
Who played Walt's? Who was the older woman who played Walt's secretary? I thought she was pretty good.
Her name's it's Kathy. Yeah, she's good. Is it Kathy? What is her
I
last
forget
name?
her actress name.
Kathy
She seemed
Baker?
familiar to me.
Kathy Baker.
I also thought that too, but like when I was looking at her credits, like I couldn't see why
Yeah,
she looked
Kathy
familiar.
Baker. Seems to me like she's been in some TV shows.
Oh, Picket Fences.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She was in Edward Scissorhands or something.
Both she and the other assistant, what was her name, Dolly? Both of those actresses seemed familiar to me, but just skimming their IMDb's, I didn't see anything that really jumped out at me as something that I would have known them from.
It looks like Kathy Baker has been in like individual episodes of a lot of things I've seen, so she must just be one of those people that you like see occasionally.
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe like
Yes.
TV actress or
She
something.
just seemed to have such a recognizable face, right? And it was probably picket fences, for me, is what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Like,
But like she was in Gilmore Girls, she was in
okay, yeah.
Ally McBeal, like just a lot of things that I sort of casually watched.
I think for me, her face or like her looks resembles another actress too, and I think that's why it's make me feel that she's familiar. But I forget that actress's name now as well.
Cider House Rules, I definitely saw that.
I'm kind of wondering if that's why I felt like Dolly, Melanie Paxson, felt familiar because like I felt like I knew her from somewhere, but nothing really jumped out at me. So maybe
Yeah,
she looks similar to somebody else that I thought I knew.
yeah,
Melanie Paxson.
I see her like she's in the Descendants movies. If you've seen those, I guess, but I haven't seen them.
They're on my list as things that I should see at some point.
I don't know you that well, John, but that sounds like something you would have watched.
Probably like if they had come out when I was younger, I would have definitely been right on that. But like I was like this was at the time I was going to Iowa State, like, and that's going back to school. So like it was well past the time when I would have been the target audience. So it was never a priority. But it does feel like something that I would have liked back then and probably would enjoy it in some way
Hmm.
now. Because I like versions of things, and this is
Well, that's
versions
right.
of tons of
Yeah,
characters.
exactly.
You should do a podcast about it.
Yeah, maybe you should think about starting a podcast. It ties into a lot of things that you could dive deep into. Like it has characters based on, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast,
Hmm.
Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella.
The person that I do most of my Alice in Wonderland stuff with, Jenna, she's talked about these a bunch of times, and we've talked like we need to do them at some point. That and what was that show? Once Upon a Time. Both of those. We've talked like
Oh, that's very similar.
we've talked
Yeah.
about like we should do those for podcasts at some point, but they're kind of a time commitment, so we haven't gotten around to them.
How many are there? Four?
Yeah, I think there's four Descendants. Yeah, for Once Upon a Time though, you'll have to do like probably a episode for each season because like each season is like so its own thing.
That's kind of what
Right.
I was thinking, but even then, it's a time commitment to just watch them.
Watch them, yeah.
So
Yeah, they're long. They're long. Yeah.
they're on my list, but they're not a priority. But I feel like Descendants I could do easier, so at some point I should try and get to those sooner than Once Upon a Time.
I've seen the first three. I have not seen Descendants Rise of Red, which is the one that actually ties into Alice in Wonderland, right?
Yeah. It was we talked about it last year, like, oh, we should do this because we were trying to get through all the Disney Alice in Wonderland related stuff because there's weirdly a bunch of Disney related
Oh,
Alice
of
in Wonderland
course.
stuff. And we got through most of them, but we didn't get to that because part of it was like, well, this is the fourth in a series. I should really watch the other three, but I don't have time for that right now, so we just haven't gotten to them.
Did you play Kingdom Hearts?
I played one of them on the
Okay. Wow.
DS, I
Yeah.
think. It was the one with cards.
Cards, indeed. The second one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one I just watched the cutscenes for.
My brother had the one for the GameCube or was platform. I don't
Well,
remember.
there's so many different, like, there's never been a main one on the GameCube, but there's been so many ancillary ones that there probably was.
He might have also had an Xbox. Or maybe it was a PlayStation. I don't remember.
The main ones have been on the PlayStation.
The GameCube is the thing that I mostly played, so I don't remember what he had after that. And I never played the original Kingdom Hearts. I just had the one that was on the DS.
I was still in high school for the original Kingdom Hearts and played it and loved it and have played a few more, but the plot gets truly like incomprehensible. Like really, like I am down for some twisty turny plot, and that is like actually really beyond what I can track.
I started to get into them or play them for the first time a couple years ago when they finally came to PC. So I played the first one. Well, it was like the remastered 1.5 version.
Uh-huh.
Then this, because I have a friend who was telling me the order to play it, and she's a big Disney blogger as well. And then there was the cards one, but I couldn't get into the gameplay of that with the card situation. I just watched the cutscenes. So I'm playing the second one now, 2.5. But like, there's a what do you call it? A gummy ship scene where I keep dying. It just annoys me. So I haven't been able to get past that. So
I think the first two are pretty much. I think the first two are excellent, and then it kind of falls off for me. But
nice.
I'm not even sure I finished the one with the cards. I remember playing it, but I can't remember if I actually won the game.
part of the problem is that in the beginning of the series, there's like a pretty good balance between the Disney content and the more like original Final Fantasy content. And the further you go, I feel like the emphasis, I mean, the Disney content is still there, but I feel like the emphasis on it is a little less and
Oh,
it's
really?
not quite as much fun. I mean, they're still there. Maybe I bet other people would disagree with me, but
Mhm.
there's just more like this person is a clone of this person and
Mhm.
this, I don't know. But every level is still a Disney World. So,
Nice.
Well, I guess, does anybody have any final thoughts on saving Mr. Banks?
well, I think it's good. I think I know I think that's my overall feeling. Like I think they did a pretty good job and it's a good movie. It is a little more intense than you might be seeking, but I've watched it 3 times and I've enjoyed it every time.
Mm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it for completely different reasons than I expected. Like, this was not the movie that I thought it was going to be when I went
Yeah.
in, but I really enjoyed it. It was a very good biopic of P.L. Travers, even though some of it is fictionalized and
Hmm.
changed from what it really happened. It does give you a good insight into her as a person. And if you're familiar with the Disney lore and how tough she was to work with, this really helps explain why. And I really liked that about this. Because I was just expecting a comedy, and I was not expecting to understand her as a person.
I was expecting to be empathetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, the Sherman Brothers would always mention about how, like, well, even Dick Van Dyke too, like how, like, I don't want to say horrible, but like how just like tough of a person she was.
Hmm.
So, yeah, this movie I think is really great. It's one of the few movies that I've given an A to on my live action Disney blog. And I think the story is great, and it's nice to see this. It's nice to see something Disney on a big screen that I could see all the Disney Easter eggs and stuff. And Mary Poppins is a beloved film of mine, so seeing the behind the scenes kind of how this got made is also
Yeah.
interesting. But again, the biggest thing that I think is the performances. Emma Thompson was amazing as P.L. Travers, and I've grown to like Tom Hanks as Walt Disney.
I think it's just an excellent film too. Just for all the reasons, you all stated so well. And, also just I think a really cool snapshot into a time period of the Disney studios. And again, it might not be 100% accurate, but I really think that at least that's how I'd like to believe it was,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
so I just think it's terrific. great film, again, great acting, great screenplay, great directing. Really, really just an excellent film.
Yeah, part of me would love to have like a good like Walt Disney biopic from the Disney Studios, but this is the best thing we have.
It's
So
probably the
I'll
best
take
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Maybe they'll do a CGI remake of Walt Disney's life.
Oh gosh.
Run away.
That's funny.
They probably won't ever do a sequel, but in looking into her life, like Sarah and I were reading about a bit about her afterwards, and we discovered that she had things happen after this that were interesting and felt like they would make a good movie, because apparently she adopted a son, but the son also had a twin that he didn't know about, and the twin like showed up at some point, like in the middle of the night, drunk, demanding to see his brother that he didn't even know existed. It's like, this feels like a movie. It's like,
She adopted the son after these events, or was it before?
she adopted a son, and the son had a twin, but she never told the son about the twin, and then the twin showed up when he was like 17 and demanding to see his brother, and his brother didn't even know he existed.
But was the adoption after this?
I think it was later.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was later. I mean, it was fairly late in her life, right? Is that what you read, Jonathan?
And she lived a long life. Like she was like 96 or something when she died.
I don't remember the year that happened. Let me check.
What was his name?
Like in my mind it was like the 70s, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know that for sure.
His name was like Amaryllis or something.
Her adoptive son.
Yeah. Something kind of like flower referencing.
At the age of 40, 2 years after moving out on her own, Travers adopted a baby boy from Ireland who she named Camillus Travers.
Camillus.
Okay.
So Ford, that might have been, she was born what, 1899 or something?
She was born in 1899, indeed.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, that'd have been 1939 when she had, yeah, because I always thought that she had already had the son like by the time.
Okay, so
the
the thing that I'm thinking of must have happened before this movie then.
Interesting.
Because the rest of this kid, Camillus Travers, was the grandchild of Joseph Hone, who was a writer, the first biographer of George Moore and W.B. Yeats, and says he was raising his 7 grandchildren with his wife. Camillus was unaware of his true parentage or the existence of any siblings until the age of 17, when Anthony Hone, his twin brother, came to London and knocked on the door of Travers' house at 50 Smith Street, Chelsea. He had been drinking and demanded to see his brother. Travers refused and threatened to call the police. Anthony left, but soon after, following an argument with Travers, Camillus went looking for his brother and found him in a pub on King's Road. Anthony had been fostered and raised by the family of the essayist Hubert Butler in Ireland. Through Camillus, Travers had 3 grandchildren. So I feel like that is a movie in and of itself. I was thinking that happened after, but apparently this was before these events.
If you ever want to read about like some of her kind of interesting spirituality, the guy who she was like really a follower of is named George Ivanovich Gurdjieff from Russia. It's pretty interesting.
She had an interesting life. I feel like we could get another movie out of this.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely could. Also, just like her writing the later Mary Poppins books would interest me.
Yeah.
Because you kind of find out some about, well, not even really, but like, only the first few are published by the time of this movie, and then she writes more.
Yeah, they show her like starting to write again at the end of the movie, but her next book wasn't published until quite a bit after the movie Mary Poppins. So that might be another thing that they kind of fudged the timeline a little bit on. Anyway, that was a random tangent, but all that to say, it's a very good movie. Great performances. Definitely worth watching for fans of Mary Poppins and or Disney history.
4 thumbs up from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, 8, I guess. 2 thumbs up for each of us.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having us again, John.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. This was fun. We'll
Hey,
have
great.
to do something else in the future too. Maybe we should do Tron at some point, since everybody here seems to be a fan of Tron.
Yes.
This is Stanford's like this is the most excited he's been.
I know. I love Tron so
I
much.
do think that I have consumed every version of Tron. So
Oh, see, I'd love to get your insights, Jack. That'd be so
Watch there
great.
be some random Russian version of Tron we never heard about. That was a
I
stage
know.
production. Jonathan finds it on a random website.
That seems
Wow.
unlikely, but I probably should look into that just in
I
case.
know.
Russian stage musical with
John's gonna find something just absolutely just the coolest thing, yeah, that we didn't even know existed.
Wow. If there is, I need to know. I wonder if there's comic books. There could be comic books based on Tron that I haven't read.
Yeah,
that's
that's what I
probably
wonder if there's
true.
comic books. Have there already been like novelizations or anything too that I see? I don't know if there have been.
There was one that was a novelization that I own, but I don't know if I've read it. So I guess we're already proving that I have not consumed every version of Tron, but
There we go.
but I would. So just say the word.
To get us all psyched for October, or
Yeah, exactly.
as if
For
I needed to
Tron
be more
Ares.
excited, but for Tron Ares, yeah.
Oh, maybe I should think about
Oh,
that. Try
wow.
and lead into the
Apparently
movie.
there's a Tron Legacy manga. Wow, you're really getting me excited, actually.
There you go, Jack.
Interesting. Jack, you got
found
to
one.
keep us posted on this.
Okay, well, truly, I mean, I know we're kind of joking, but if you want to do Tron, I'm so in.
It's
Oh,
been on my
I'm
list
in.
to do for the Disney movie marathon at some point. I hadn't ever decided like this is the next thing I want to do, but maybe it should be. Maybe I should think about it. I have other stuff I'm working on, so it won't be the next thing, but
Yeah.
maybe in a few months that could be something we talk about.
Cool.
So I put in the chat, sorry, just to backtrack a touch, that YouTube video that where Richard Sherman is playing Feed the Birds for that recording for the Once Upon a Studio short. It's like 2 minutes. I think it's absolutely worth watching if you've got any interest.
Okay.
I think part of it too is I adore that short. I think that's really like the only good thing that Disney did for their 100th anniversary. I thought it was really great. If you haven't already seen it, yeah. And if you haven't seen the short, I highly recommend the short too. I could put a link to that as well if you'd like.
Oh yeah, that was something.
It was a great short, yeah.
Did you do a
I wrote
podcast
it
about that,
onto
Jonathan? Sorry, Jack.
Oh, I was just saying I put it on my watch list.
Oh,
Nice.
good. Okay.
I feel like I talked about it on a podcast at some point, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I
for
feel you would have.
sure.
I don't remember either.
When did it come out? Was it last year?
2023.
It was 2023. I think like the end of fall of 2023.
Yeah, because it would be 100
It would have
years.
been October, I think. I think it was released like on the actual 100th anniversary. Does that sound right, Mark?
I don't remember the date, but I think the year was the 100th anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go back and see what I did episodes around that time because I feel like I talked about it with somebody, but now I'm questioning whether that was a recorded conversation or just talking about it with somebody.
You can never tell.
Yeah, that's funny. I bet that's true.
Well, I think we'll probably call this one good. We will probably be back in the future for something else.
Tron. No pressure, of course.
Well, until the next time, do you guys want to let people know where they can find you online if they'd like more from you? Stanford?
Yes. So I have a movie podcast. It's called Movies Past and Present. You can find it at moviespastandpresent.com and also on wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm also on Instagram at moviespap, as in past and present.
And Mark?
You can find me on my blogs. I have two blogs. One is the Animation Commendation at theanimationcommendation.com. I post animation film reviews sometimes, a top 13 list, and I host a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Animation Edition game show every year. Well, I have been, so hopefully we'll see if I continue doing it, but you can check me there. And I have another blog, My Live Action Disney Project, myliveactiondisneyproject.com, where I'm trying to watch and review every single live action theatrically released Disney film ever made. I've reviewed this one, Save Mr. Banks. You can check the other stuff out there. Thanks.
And Jack?
You can find me on Instagram at J_C_H_Q. And I have two Tumblrs. One is my Showa Magical Girl Tumblr. We post twice a day about magical girls in Japan until 1989. And the other one is Zephyr Prince 8, ZEPHYRPRINCE 8, which is just all kinds of media that I'm consuming.
Okay, well, until the next time. Thanks for listening to the Disney Movie Marathon. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. My Linktree and all of our links will be in the description below. If you want more of my content, all my podcasts are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you enjoyed this show, check out one of the other podcasts or check out my Patreon for bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.